particular book, The Beast Within, gears towards drug use. It's really important, right? Because it seems to affect us in all areas of our life. If you notice, drug abuse, drug sales, selling or whatever, is primarily the main source of the incarceration of our people. In some form or fashion, people that get locked up is related to drugs, whether they were selling it or using it, had to rob someone, and once you get alcohol, marijuana not really good. Hard drugs like cocaine, pills, which we have a great problem with today, the opiates, and the fentanyl is killing people in great numbers. And once you use, it's very hard to come up out the grips. Very hard. And I believe in my heart that somebody in their family knows somebody who's addicted or having a problem with drugs. And right now we're at its highest heights where Medicaid is restricting people benefits to go to treatment. So if they go to rehab or 28-day treatment center or even a long term, they tell them they can't go over twice a year. So it's leaving them no option but so a lot of people don't understand why their family member keep going in and out of rehabs and why they can't get off of drugs. They're like, what is wrong with them? Why do you keep using it? Do you love it that much? What's going on with it? So in my book, I describe in detail of why it happens and why a person fights to get out of this grip. Okay, I wanted to read a section of the book where he gets high, he uses, and he's trying to find some reinforcement to get his life back. Well, his life is not really going yet, but he feel it. He feel himself slipping. I can relate to this in some form or fashion because I was raised around an area that was known for its drug use and drug sales. I was born in 1962. I was raised by my grandmother, along with two brothers. So I'm a 70 baby, and if you know anything about Harlem during the 70s, the heroin epidemic was ridiculous. Yeah. With that being said, I share this story because drug use is sort of like HIV. It don't discriminate. You could, meet somebody or go to a high school reunion or a party and someone offer you something you're trying to fit in, whether it be alcohol, cocaine, marijuana, something, then you use it, then you find yourself liking it, and trying to pull up out of it. It's such a tremendous fight. And the reason why I named my book The Beast Within, because it's like your conscience, and the beast is what keeps a person in addiction. He whispers to the soul of the person, because drugs snatch the soul. Anything that can make you neglect your children, your mother, your father, all of your loved ones has to be some powerful stuff. But it's not really the stuff, it's the human mind. And the beast says it, he talks to you. He comes directly to you. He tell you that you ain't really got no problem, that they don't know what they're talking about, and that your children are going to be all right when they're not. A person, a woman or a man, they would just abandon their whole family. And some folks don't understand that. Like right now, they have this shot called naloxone, right? It revives people from an overdose. And they didn't have that for us in the 70s. They just used to drag you out the shooting gallery and lay you on the sidewalk, and they rumble through your pockets and you were dead. So now it started affecting their people. So now they come up with this shot. Are you kidding me? You know what I mean? Us black African Americans was addicted to heroin in the streets coming from the Vietnam War. And now it's such a great problem because a few, elite higher up, children and stuff now is dying off of the stuff. So, with that being said, I want to read a paragraph of the book. But I also want to say this, I'm not going to give the book out, but inside of the book, I describe in detail vivid sex scenes, right? Because women and both men alike, this is one of the weapons that's used to get a person hooked. Sex, drugs, rock and roll. And If someone feeds you some alcohol or marijuana first, it lowers your inhibitions to think properly. And it opens the door for other stuff. So you have to be careful when you go into a party or high school reunion, anything like that. You could easily become, or even trying to help somebody. I was just explaining to a young lady, because this is what happens with my character. He literally tries to help somebody and it goes haywire. And he's fighting hard to get his life back. But I'm going to read from my book. He had used, and this man is a doctor, a kidney and liver surgeon. He escaped all this from his younger days. He vowed that he would never go to prison, never hang out, mess with fast women or nothing. The man got a scholarship, got a degree, went to college and became a surgeon. So for him to throw his life away like that, it has to be something very powerful, and along with it that made him use. What the hell was he thinking? How could he do what he did? He beat himself up mentally and told himself that's what he got for cheating on Dominique, his wife, in a way, his own son. He wanted to go back to work where he hoped to keep so busy he wouldn't have to think about what happened. When Dorian went back to work, he tried to reinforce in his mind why he couldn't repeat what he'd done. To see firsthand the destruction that crack and drugs like it caused, he visited the hospital's detoxification unit, or detox for short, where he saw addicts whose bodies were flipping inside, trying to rid their bodies of destructive chemicals gained from drug abuse. He saw his colleagues, doctors like himself and nurses, who took patient temperatures and checked their vital signs and to chart their progress, emptying the poison from their systems. In some rooms, the stench from pools of vomit was overwhelming. His self-imposed sore forced him to see homeless addicts with all they owned in black garbage bags sitting next to them. And those were the ones who were better off. There were some addicts who didn't own anything to put in the garbage bag. They didn't have shoes on their feet. Their clothes they wore were filthy and were collected with stains of what a body eliminates. When you're using and the stuff starts to come out of your body and sweat and things of that nature, it smells awful, especially with alcohol and drugs. The homes coming from the poor souls were roasted with this towel cutter. If Mother Teresa was alive, she would have covered her nose and screamed, "Damn you, Satan." Dorian wondered how people could allow themselves to wind up in such a pitiful condition. He hoped that seeing these horror stories would keep him from joining them. He vowed that he would be stronger than he was and never allow himself to sink lower than the low. Needing more reinforcement, Dorian visited the hospital's rehabilitation unit. To his surprise, even after he showed the receptionist his doctor's badge, she denied him access to the unit. The receptionist told him it wasn't personal, that she knew all the personnel who worked in the unit and that he was not part of those allowed entry. After Dorian told her he was a veteran doctor with board connections who just wanted to enter and observe the detox program, the receptionist asked him to wait while she called a unit director. Dorian was angry that his credentials didn't afford him automatic entry, but he thought maybe the cocaine metabolites still in his system might be making him more impatient than he normally would. How many cups of black coffee Dorian guzzled, he couldn't stop his desire to use crack again. He thought of the mind-blowing sex he had with Delicious and Frenzy was closely associated in his mind with the drugs that he might use that night. For 2 weeks, he struggled to keep himself focused on his working family. Then, out of a compulsion he didn't know he had, he called Delicious to ask what in her frenzy were doing. For some strange reason, he felt that the both of them belonged to him now. Maybe it was because after the drug-fueled fest, the sex acts the women did with abandon convinced him they would only do it with him. This is what he was thinking. Of course, he was the victim of his own delusions. That was a little-known side effect of using crack. Aside from the pleasure center overload the brain, the addict like Dorian put himself at the very center of the universe. That's how it makes you feel like you're on time. Everything and everybody revolved around him. Yes.
Why did you choose a doctor as the character who has fallen?
Well,
is it because he's a healer who needs to be healed? He tells the story, and it's just interesting that you chose not the regular guy off the street, but you chose someone who's at the top of his game, who is falling. And what's also interesting is how people are enabling him along the way, even though they see the problem.
Right. And okay, you're part right. And the reason why I chose a doctor, because this man knows the scientific, studies in biology of life. He knows about drugs. He evaded them all his life. So I wanted to show how strong the beast can be. You see? Because inside the book, he talks about that. He says, what? The beast said, what did he talk about? You a doctor. What do they know? Got a degree. You make all this money. You gotta be kidding me. And that's how the beast talks. So when he went, I just read, he went because he showed his credentials, because he smoked. And it bothered him so much. He wanted to see what the effects was. And when he went inside, he showed his credentials. He was like, wow, this is deep. I can't even get in here with my credentials. This is crazy. And he seen the first-hand effects. But you know what he told himself? Now that ain't gonna be me. I'm a doctor. That can never be me. Never in life.
God.
That's how strong it is. Yeah, I don't know what they told. But inside of the book, things happen. So, how you say, detrimental things happen. Because he went from
up there to down there.
Yeah. And after that, when I describe the sex scenes, I describe the after effects of that. See? Because then it wasn't about that no more. It was about the use. They have a saying in AA and NA, right, where people get addicted. They use to live and live to use. That's profound. Wow. That's all your life is about. You live to use and use to live. Wow. So that's why I chose the highest profession of him being a doctor. And I'm not going to give you the whole book, so that, when you get home, you don't have nothing to read about it. But he tried to help somebody.
So, in the hospital scene, where they're watching him, I was wondering, the people who were watching him, he was watching the watchers, and if you had like a side story where if any of them had to pee in a cup, would they pass?
Yeah, that, and I haven't finished yet. I can do that. Thank you. What's your name again now?
Lorraine.
Thank you, Miss Lorraine. Thank you. But inside of the book, before, he loses his profession, he's at the board. Yes, ma'am.
I think what the essence of depicting a physician just shows an avid reader that no one is exempt. It could be any of us, but society has it where it's, poor blacks or underprivileged or whatever, but it can be anybody, because like you said, you start once, you do it once, and that unveils those endorphins in the brain that will want more and more and more, so it doesn't matter who you are.
You talked about your grandmother raising you. What about your mother?
Okay,
how did you play?
Yes, I'm not going to hold back anything, because the second book that I wrote called Old Harlem, where I give it up. My mother was named Julia Ann Wiggins, and she was addicted to heroin. And she was hit and run on 116th Street and 8th Avenue. And there was a few people out there. It was late at night. So the ambulance took her, she died, and no one knew where she was at. And they took her, and they had already buried her in Pottersfield. And the detectives was asking around, and they were showing her a picture, and that's how we got to know what happened to my mother. So at that time, it was 3 of us. We were very young. And her sisters and all of them said, I think you better put them boys into foster care. We were right behind each other, 10, 11, 12. And at this time in the city, it was tough for a single mother to raise 3 children. Money was plentiful for the drug dealers and all that, but for the people in the neighborhood, we was poor. I want to be like an inspiration to other people that's holding these things inside, not wanting to share them. So maybe through that, someone else could, sort of let go. Because I'm not going to lie. I was raised with a lot of resentment. I went to jail as a young adolescent, and it was terrible. I didn't understand what I was doing. As a matter of fact, I was going through an identity crisis because I didn't know who I wanted to be. Because peer pressure and the streets told me who I was going to be because I didn't know anything. They said, you can do this, you're going to do that. Don't worry about going to jail. The police will let you right out the police station. Don't you want to be a fly guy? And remember, it was tough because we was raised by my grandmother. And this is a paper food stamp era.
Yeah.
A dollar was a dollar, a buck was a buck. If you had $30 in 1972, you had a decent, pretty penny. I used to go down to 42nd Street and watch 3-4 movies with 75 cents. Because me, my brothers, and my grandmother wasn't the only one going through that. This streets here was flooded with addicts. Do you know how many people, families was addicted to heroin?
Yes.
So, and I know they don't probably even share. I don't want nobody to know that. My story. If you don't like it, hey, you don't like it. But my grandmother was a good woman, so was my mother. Be ashamed of my parents.
Never.
If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here, regardless of what they went through. It wasn't their fault. That was the fad back then. That heroin, it tore our neighborhoods up.
It sure did.
Sure.
I know you felt good getting it out. I understand.
And
I was listening to you, you were reading about the character Dorian, and actually my question has been answered. Because I was wondering if you was writing from first person or shared experiences, and now you actually answered that question.
right, and I shared experience. Like, this wasn't an era where you took a hit of crack cocaine and was like, basing, and was feeling over everything and looking out the peephole and selling your soul for a hit. No, when you took a hit of free-base cocaine, you sat there like this. Remember that? Beam me up, Scotty. So that changed. Coming with the crack cocaine when he started mixing it with baking soda, speed, and all these other things. So in short, because y'all are here, so that when you read, this is not, especially like some of the sex scenes. This is not something I created and made up. A little bit of it, but that part is profound. And I don't really like to write like that. But there's no other way that I could have explained how these women got this man, this doctor, to use and lose his career, his life, his wife, his son, finished. A liver and kidneys, he's a surgeon. This man make over $130,000, $140,000 a year. Got living on Jamaica States. This is where I put him at. And to give all that up, for that it had to be something powerful. And mind you, it's not far-fetched. Do you know how many lawyers and doctors and all them were down there in Wall Street? What's that, Washington Square Park? That got messed up with that stuff, and it took them years to get out of it?
If they got out of it at all.
If they got out of it at all.
I believe that it was part of a plot and a plan. But they just dropped the way it looked in Harlem on 116th Street, looked like they just came with some planes and just dropped the drugs in our community. It moved all the way up here. I lived on 56th Street, and at one point it looked like 116th Street. So the fact that you've written this book and people talking about you don't tell or whatever, brother, thank you. Because we have too many secrets in our homes. They tell us don't talk about this, suppressing everything. If we don't talk about it, we won't heal. Because we're hiding all this pain, that's causing us to stay stagnant. Once you understand the mechanism and what it really is, then you'll see the dynamics of it. And so you've started that with unveiling your experience, and it's a healing process for you and for all of us.
A lot of us.
Yeah, it's for all of us, so thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, I want to wrap it up. I want to thank all of you for coming, right? But I want to leave you with one powerful message, and maybe you can pass it on to every family member, every friend that you know, especially regarding your children, your nieces, your nephews, and these drugs that are tearing us apart, right? Even with the gangs. Never allow your children, your nieces, your nephews to hold any secrets in the house. We have to take it back to where we was raised. You could imagine what door you gonna lock? To me, don't go in there and what you doing going through my stuff or looking at my phone. As you what? Our parents would be like this. Oh yeah, look, pack that and you out of here. You just can't. And we have to capture them first, because if you don't, then the streets is gonna catch them. So with that's my message.
Rambo, I believe that we're all a product of our environment and circumstance, and so you growing up in the projects and moved out and stuff like that. As you stand here and you shared so much with us, do you have any regrets in life, and where do you see yourself, a year to 5 years from now? Like writing more books, being an inspiration? Talk to us about it.
Yes. No, I don't have any regrets, right? Because God. So I believe in God. I believe in God. So the reason why I don't have any regrets, because God spared me. Oh man, He spared me so many times. I can picture myself 5 years from now, possibly with my own non-profit organization geared towards drug prevention. Yes, that's one of my passions. And the youth. I love talking to the youth, and so they don't have to go through what I went through. And that's why I share my stories, because I don't have no regrets. I look at people who, like I said, I'll be 55 years old, and I'm gonna be a little honest. I blew that. I blew the job where my friends from my neighborhood is retiring. I blew that chance. But I'm not going to beat myself up. I'm lightly with a feather. I have to make do with what I have now. So what? I don't have a BMW. So what? I don't have a job paying $20 an hour. You know what I'm blessed with? Life and 3 beautiful grandchildren. My daughter is the same age as Marcella. She's 32. Gave me 3 beautiful grandchildren, and I love them. I love them. And I let that be my drive, because I said this: I'm going to leave a legacy, a good legacy. I don't want to leave no legacy for my grandchildren saying, this what happened to you, this what your father was. I want them to have inspiration that they can be what they want to be if they put their hearts to it. I'm 55, we ain't here. I pray I make it to about 70. 78. Right here in Sisters Uptown Bookstore. She has books with authors that are no longer here, right? And they have left their legacy right here on these shelves. And that's what I want. I want a younger person, I'm not here 25, 30 years from now, to pick up my book. Say, wow, who is this guy? Rambo. 2017. Wow, that was a long time. Let me see who this guy was.
Me again.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Lorraine. You said it's part of a trilogy.
Yes, the second book. So this is going to be named How Strong Am I? Because he's going to fight. He just got in the ring. He just got in the ring. As we know, this is a disease, and it can be a lifelong process. I want to thank everyone for coming. I truly, truly appreciate the legacy.